Good morning, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Google+. This is Rich again, back for your first video blog of the day for Saturday, August 27th, 2016. Around 7:03 in the morning, Billerica, Massachusetts. Going to be a sunny day out today. Low humidity, highs in the mid-80s. Some news to report. Kansas City Royals beat the Boston Red Sox by the score of 6-3. The Royals are on a very hot streak, and the Red Sox have to be aware of them because of the wild card standings. Also, the New England Patriots beat the Carolina Panthers by a score of 19-17 in preseason football. The Lowell Spinners beat the Tri-City Cats by the score of 5-4. It's Happy Film and Movie Day in Russia. I think Nikolai Volkov's happy about that. Maybe you've seen the Russian national anthem during Film and Movie Day in Russia. He's not really Russian. And it's Happy LBJ Day in Texas. LBJ was the 36th President of the United States, Lyndon B. Johnson, who would have been 108 years old today. And that's about it on the news. My first video blog subject of the day is the top 10 best wrestlers in the history of championship wrestling from Florida, CWF. Championship Wrestling from Florida was one of the most famous regional territories in professional wrestling back in the days. It was a member of the NWA, and its announcer was the dean of wrestling announcers, Gordon Solie. No question about it. He's so sudden. Nice souffle. That's a French word for suplex. And here are the top 10 best wrestlers in championship wrestling from Florida's history. And here they are. Number 10 on this list of the greatest professional wrestlers, the best wrestlers in the history of CWF, Lex Luger, the total package. Lex Luger broke in with championship wrestling from Florida in 1985. 19 days into his career, he was the Southern Heavyweight Champion, beating Wahoo McDaniel. He had a lot of great feuds down in championship wrestling for Florida. He was first a heel, but he turned babyface. He was the 1986 Pro Wrestling Rookie of the Year from PWI, and he left there to join the NWA. Number 9 on this list of the greatest CWF wrestlers of all time, Bob Roop. Bob Roop spent the majority of his career in Florida. He won Southern Heavyweight Championships, the Florida State Heavyweight Championship, tag team titles. He went from face to heel so many times. He actually was part of Kevin Sullivan's faction when he became Monk Insane, who was crazy, and he is one of the best. Number 8 on this list of the greatest wrestlers in CWF history, Mike Graham, second generation wrestler, one of the best junior heavyweights. He also teamed with Steve Kern to win the U.S. Florida tag team titles. Also was in Southern Heavyweight Championships. He was an icon in championship wrestling for Florida. He eventually became the owner of the tape library. He sold it to WWE in 2006 for a cool $1 million. He passed away in 2012. Number 7 on this list of the greatest wrestlers in CWF history, Kevin Sullivan. Kevin Sullivan worshipped the devil when he went to the CWF. First he was a clean-cut babyface, but then he turned heel, and this was one of the best heel runs in the history of championship wrestling for Florida. He had Maniac Mark Lewin and Bob Roop as Monk Insane, the Fallen Angel, who became Woman in WCW, Luna Vachon, and so many others. That cult-like following that Kevin Sullivan had with the Devil Worshippers gimmick was probably one of the best stuff in the 1980s in any professional wrestling territory. Might have to do a video blog on that sometime in the near future. Number 6 on this list of the greatest CWF wrestlers of all time, Buddy Cope. Buddy Cope was a bleach blonde heel in the 70s, feuding with all the top stars in CWF, winning many titles down there. He was promised a run with the NWA World title, but in February of 1975, Buddy's career was over when he got into a plane crash. He survived, but he didn't wrestle again. He suffered some permanent damage. He eventually became an announced color man for Gordon Solie on Championship Wrestling from Florida. Number 5 on this list of the greatest professional wrestlers in the history of the CWF, Wahoo McDaniel, Chief Wahoo McDaniel. Wahoo won many titles in Florida, Southern Heavyweight title, Florida Tag Team titles, the U.S. Florida Tag Team titles. Billy Jack Haynes feuded with Harley Race and Ric Flair, actually booked in CWF for a while. Number 4 on this list of the best wrestlers in the history of Championship Wrestling from Florida, Bobby Shane. Bobby Shane was in Florida for only 4 years, but he was one of the top heels down there, winning many Southern Heavyweight Championships, Florida Tag Team titles. He was destined for a run as NWA World Champion, but tragically he was in a plane crash February 1975. In the plane, it was Buddy Cold and Austin Idol and manager Gary Hart, and Bobby Shane's life was over when he got in that airplane class. He was killed. It's so sad, because I've heard stories that he was destined to become the NWA World Champion, and he would have been a good NWA World Champion. Number 3 on this list of the top 10 best wrestlers in Championship Wrestling from Florida's history is Jack Briscoe. Jack Briscoe was like the NWA World Champion for about 3 years. He wrestled mainly in Florida. He was one of Eddie Graham's disciples, with the backstage booking and working with talent. And Jack actually won some championships in Florida. Florida's Heavyweight Championship, the Southern Heavyweight Championship. He even teamed with his brother Jerry Briscoe, who was known as one of Mr. McMahon's stooges. They were Florida Tag Team Champions for a while, and they feuded with the Funk Brothers, Dorian Terry. Number 2 on this list of the best wrestlers in Championship Wrestling wrestling from Florida's history, Eddie Graham. Eddie Graham was part of the Golden Grahams in New York with Dr. Jerry Graham. They were big-time heels. Eventually, Eddie settled down and bought into the Championship Wrestling from Florida territory, which was owned by Cowboy Hill. Eventually, he became sole owner in the 60s. He slowed down in the ring, and he eventually became the owner of Championship Wrestling from Florida. He teamed with Mike Graham on occasions to come out of retirement. He was NWA president at one time. He had a lot of talent exchanges with Vince McMahon Sr., and he was one of the guys who told Vince McMahon Sr. that Bob Backlund would be the next big WWF champion. And Eddie Graham passed away in 1985 due to battling depression, and he was inducted in WCW Hall of Fame in 1993 and the WWE Hall of Fame in 2008. And number 1 on this list of the best wrestlers in Championship Wrestling from Florida's history, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Dusty Rhodes started in Championship Wrestling from Florida as a heel, managed by the infamous Playboy Gary Hart, but eventually he turned face in a tag team match between him and Paxson against Mike and Eddie Graham, and then fans drove into the American Dream like crazy. He was a great talker. He had so much charismatic. He won many tag team titles, many Southern Heavyweight Championships, many Florida Championships, and he feuded with a lot of wrestlers, including Harley Race, The Assassins, Ernie Ladd, Cowboy Ron Bass, Kevin Sullivan, and so many others. Ric Flair. He sometimes donned the mask as the Midnight Rider, and Florida was one of the top territories in the country until he left Florida to go to Mid-Atlantic in 1984, and that was the decline of CWF. And that's about it on Championship Wrestling from Florida's Top 10 Wrestlers. Hope you enjoyed it. 2 more video blogs coming today. One will be about niche sports, talk about some of the sports that could break out in the next few years to battle the major ones like NBA, NFL, Major League Baseball, NHL, NASCAR, golf, and tennis. And the third and final video blog of the night will be about MBTA Bus Route 57 that goes from Kenmore Square in Boston near Fenway Park to the Watertown Yards via Brighton Center and Newton Corner. Keep calm, everybody. I'm a Julie Bunny guy. Molly Roosevelt, WCCO, works and has nice legs. Elizabeth, that's also stunning. She's the best. Amy Sweezy's awesome. Awesome Amy. Linda Church of WPIX Channel 11 in New York is a cougar, and she's got nice legs, the best legs in New York City. Bob Gibbs of ABC 11 has that sweet southern accent. Michelle Beto of ESPN Sports Nation is the best. Shirley Spear of Fox 25 is awesome. And in the words of Dee Patel last week, no buzz. Bye now.